on final. Copy that, 7. Do you have a visual? Roger that. What dark? Get in your pants. Mother, can you get him some backup? I don't have any available movement.
Are you both comfortable with leaving the Gulf War and going to Kanye?
No.
Hold on.
I want to continue with the Iraq war.
Yeah, now, because he did ask, because the two reasons you gave for Iraq was,
I can tell you there's a general reason the United States will support countries that are of geostrategic interest. That usually means next to important travelways for trade.
Of course.
It could mean geographic location in relation to China or Russia.
Yes.
And then there's a third reason, places that have somewhat tenable democracies.
Yeah.
Like that's an important thing. That's why we don't intervene so much in African countries, because we're worried that if we start shipping in a ton of weapons, shit will get fucked. In Iraq, we abandoned that strategy,
Hold on, guys,
and that was one of the
speak,
reasons
please.
why the post-Iraq war, the second Gulf War, was such an unbelievable fucking shit show, because we invaded the country, we dismantled the government, and we realized that was fucked, so we tried to build another government, and that was even more fucked, and arguably a lot of what we ended up shipping to Iraq went straight to fucking ISIS.
So
that was one of the bad things about, that was like the bad
Israeli,
thing about Iraq.
okay, let me ask
and
you this,
Afghanistan as well, yes.
Let me ask you this, just so Nick can properly respond to the Iraq war.
Sure.
Are you saying that Israeli involvement had nothing to do with us going into Iraq?
That
Israeli involvement.
I'm sure that people from Israel were probably happy we did it. I'm sure there are Jewish people in the United States that are probably happy we did it, but I don't think the Jews made it happen. Like, I think if you delete Israel and you delete Jewish people, God willing for Nick, from the world,
Okay, so you think we would have invaded regardless of Israeli
regardless of
involvement?
any Jewish
Okay,
influence,
what's your
yes.
response to that?
And
then what about Iraq? Yeah.
And then about
Iraq
Jews
part.
in Iraq. He says, well, maybe there were Israelis that supported it. No. There were very powerful Zionist Jews that supported it. It was a number 2 in the DOD. It was a number 3 in the DOD. It had a Near East policy in the National Security Council. These are the guys that put together. And by the way, it's not like I'm just listing people that were in the government. They specifically created. No, I'm about to answer that. They specifically created the Office of Special Plans. The Office of Special Plans is where all this phony intelligence about WMDs from Iraq.
It was also requested by Cheney and Bush.
You
because
can
they
go
didn't
and
like
look it up.
I have looked it up.
Let him finish his point, and then you can go ahead and say it was phony. Let him just finish his point about the Office of Special.
So they contradicted the CIA. They contradicted American intelligence. They had Mossad people going in between all day long. Not only that, but these are all guys. I don't know how people can just pass this off as a coincidence. All these guys that I'm talking about in the government were 10 years prior writing a clean break memo that was literally commissioned by the Prime Minister of Israel. The Prime Minister of Israel said, hey guys, go write a memo about our foreign policy. And the foreign policy playbook they wrote was this: first Iraq, then Syria, then Iran. Then these guys all get in the Bush White House, and that's, go figure, exactly what they pushed for. On September 20th, 9 days after 9/11, 40 prominent neocons at the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times wrote a letter to George Bush and said, if you don't support a war against Hezbollah, against Iraq, against Syria, then we're going to say you're an ally.
Dead Mother, what can you tell us about your recon team? We were monitoring them on the security network when we lost contact. Now the entire system is offline. Any news on the bad guys? We know they hit the main building shortly before 5 p.m. No estimate on enemy strength, but we should assume it's a sizable force. Hostages? Undetermined. Been no demand? Not as far as I know. Dust 7 on final. Copy, Dust 7. Do you have a visual? Roger that.